hello and welcome to my channel, Animation. You may be wondering why the fuck is she talking that away? And yeah, it feels really weird, but I have a really bad cold sore. It started off like as a sunburn, and then it was like blisters on my lips, and now it's kind of like, I don't know how a cold sore forms, it gets infected. I don't know, I'm sorry I'm grossing you out with guys. I'm sorry I'm grossing you guys out with this stuff, but I'm just letting you know I will be doing my review this away. And in most of my reaction, I'm kind of like watching the episode literally like this. It's really awkward, but I didn't want to take a break from posting videos because I don't need a break. It's just my fucking face. From this angle, it just looks like I had a bad lip job. I don't know, bad Botox or something. But without further ado, guys, I am going to show you my reaction highlights. Full reactions for all Attack on Titan episodes will be on Patreon, available to level 2+ patrons. And yeah, enjoy the reaction highlights and my review at the end. His voice is pretty cool. I don't know who his voice actor is, but his voice is pretty cool. Oh god. What? I don't know if it's the visuals or the music or what the fuck, but everything. Oh, I need to learn other adjectives other than fucking, what the fuck, and fucking. The visuals are just amazing. No wonder it takes them so long to make a season, because to animate that must take like a lot of time. Ooh, ooh, excuse me, wait, who was that? Who is, okay, that's Bertolt and Rainer and Bertolt, and who is this guy? Is this the one that died? Oh god. Darts? Like tranquilizers? This is so cool. In the military police? Kenny, what the hell is he doing in the military police? So he's with them? Okay, that's Kenny. He's just much younger. And is this little boy, is this little Levi? Oh. Oh, shit. Whose voice is this? Is that his voice? He's got a really interesting voice actor. You're no different. You'll kill when it benefits you. Oh god. Oh shit, body. Oh, fucking body shield. Sorry. She's so dry. My dream is getting further and further away. What is his dream? Kenny the Ripper. What is his deal? How does he know Levi? And what is his dream? That is my questions. I just want to drink some water. I'm gonna have to pause every time I drink water because I need to like drink it like this, because otherwise. Oh, she can see the fear in your eyes, little John. Oh, fuck. You... It's kill or be killed! Where did she shoot you? Fuck. See, that's why in dangerous moments you like that, and like fucking moments like that where you will be killed if you don't kill, it's impossible to ask questions. You just have to fucking fight. And then ask, like, fight now, ask questions later. Eren and Historia have been captured. That's what they've been trying to do. He's already moved against Erwin and the Scout Regiment. Who's this he? He's already moved against them. Who? Who's he? Oh. Oh. Fucking badass Armin! Yes! Sorry. Oh shit, did they lose them? You hesitated, she hesitated, but somewhere someone was gonna get killed. There wasn't time to discuss right and wrong. That was just about protecting Eren and Historia. They don't know what they're gonna do with them, and if they didn't fight, if they didn't kill, they would have been killed in that situation. So there was no time to just sit down and have tea and discuss, okay, so what's everyone's prerogative here? On whose side are you? Let's talk about how we can move forward from this and come to a conclusion and you know, what's that bridge? We can come to a, oh, there's a word for it. Compromise. So there was no time to just, you know, discuss a compromise. It was fucking kill or be killed. And in that situation, you don't have any other choice but to, like Armin didn't have any other choice in that situation to have pulled the trigger. The thing is, John hesitated and lost his upper hand. And then that woman hesitated. She had the upper hand, but then she hesitated, and then bam, was shot from behind. But they've already lost a few of their people, like that girl, I don't even know what that girl's name was, that Kenny shot on the head, the other guy that was on the roof dead, I think one other person was also killed. So it's like there is no time in that situation to discuss. It's already, the world in Attack on Titan is already at this point, it's already so fucked up that it's hard to sit down and talk to people about who's right and who's wrong. You kind of have to fight until you can get to that position, or get to the person who is because you know that girl that Armin shot, she might just as well be caught up in other people's bullshit. But you have to fight your way to the root cause, and up until then you have to deal with the symptoms of that cause disease. Because all this, like, you can look at war and fighting and killing and stuff as like a disease, a disease's symptoms. So it's the same as in what Tanya the Evil. There are people organizing, and there's people who started the war. The war didn't just happen. This war didn't just happen. There were causes. There's a root. But a lot of people suffer underneath those causes and are fighting this other people's battles. You can look at them like symptoms, or in Afrikaans you would call it nagevolge, like you get benefits and then drawbacks. They're like the I can't describe it any other way now other than they're like the symptoms of a disease, a root cause. And at this point where they are right now, it's too late to just sit and talk. You have to fight the symptoms to get to the root cause. But up until then, if you don't fight the symptoms will kill you. And then you'll never get to the root cause. Yeah. It's a very, one more thing. It's a very gray area, and I'm not saying that it's moral or what I'm saying is right or anything, but I'm just saying like, I'm not saying there's no other choice. I'm just saying this is probably the choice that I would have made, and since all of those people kind of, you know, the scouts chose to be scouts, that woman chose to have that gun in her hand. At some point, we all have to pay for the choices we've made, even if we end up getting killed because of someone else starting a war. You know, we're all consenting adults. We're all where we are for a reason, and sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but we have to kind of live with the consequences of that. Sometimes there's, you know, a flood, and then you get you get killed because of a flood. Sometimes there's so many things that can happen, and like I said, if your first choice would be to prevent fucking this from happening if you can at all. But at some point you're too far gone to avoid having to kill people. Eaten? Eaten? Oh God. And they tried to kill you. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh, I can't think of that. But imagine how many nails must this guy have peeled to get so good at peeling nails. I like that they put that dialogue in there. Within these cramped walls, do you know why war has never broken out? No, tell me. A teacher, too smart for their own good. Look, but look at this. That guy being tortured, this guy crying, but that guy laughing. Like, think about this situation and that situation. Like, is that really, like, it's also gray. Like, is that really so wrong? If you look at, I don't like this visual. I don't think this is very stupid. I mean, I don't think this is very nicely done. I think this is, compared to the rest of the visuals in this episode, this is really ugly. I'm sorry. So that's what you say to convince yourself, fucker. The king, the blood of the king. What is the fucking blood of the king? You're the ones turning people into fucking titans and throwing them over walls. Are they doing this on purpose? Aha, I knew it. Sorry. It's just he immediately said it and it was like, ha. Race is the true royal family. So the king is just a figurehead. Oh, fuck. Historia. Oh dear God. Should have known it from the start with Historia's blue eyes and blonde hair. Of course she was a royalty. Is that her mother? Is that her mother? Because her mother was a maid or something, or that's why she was a bastard, right? Yes, I will watch the preview. It's a secret big enough to change the kingdom. Once the secret is known to Erwin, he remembers a past of his own. Once this... Oh, that's his dad? Old story. Sandus's reference to killing the teacher and the woman makes much less sense if you don't know... No, it looked like it... Even... that's kind of very spoilery, like... Usually these spoilers are only spoilers for the episode, so I usually don't mind reading the comments on here. But this is kind of spoilery for future episodes. Sandus's reference to killing the teacher and the woman makes much less sense if you don't know Erwin and Historia's backstories. But if you don't know the teacher and the woman, but the teacher, when he said, even before I read this comment, when he was talking about killing the teacher, I first thought it was, maybe it was like Erin's dad, and I tried to remember what Erin's dad looks like. But here, if you watch the preview for the next episode, it's kind of like you realize that it's Erin's dad, or it looks like Erin's dad, because it seemed in this preview that Erin's dad was like teaching him something, and then sort of the teacher. And so, looking forward to the next story. Holy shit, God tier animation. Yes, I agree, it was fucking God tier animation. But I just didn't like that where it was this little square in the corner and then flashbacks. Like, I didn't think that was necessary. I think they could have left out that little square in the corner of the guy talking. Like, I could realize it was flashbacks or memories or something. Why did they put that terrible little square there? I don't understand it. And review time. I literally took a break to go get some hot milk and honey. Here that is. And then I wrote down on my hand stuff that I want to talk about in the review. What I wrote down is Ymir, Historia equals R, and right versus wrong. There is probably a few other things that will come up in the review, but for now I just really want to make sure I talk about these three things. I know this isn't going to be about the episode per se, but it is something that influences my thoughts on the episode. So, Wolf and Robin, who are on my Discord, they're actually moderators on my channel. They asked me to rewatch season 2, episode 10, the episode called Children, and Wolf said, pay attention to the scene where Ymir kind of talks about her history. And I actually made notes as I was watching. It's just this and that. So I'll quickly read through them. It's Attack on Titan season 2 episode 10, Children, from about 10 minutes and 40 seconds to about 13 minutes and 40 seconds, somewhere around there. And his hint was, Wolf gave me a hint and he said, look at what is happening around Ymir, not just at Ymir, but look around her. And basically what I wrote down is she kind of gets abducted by adults, kind of like cultists, in my opinion. She gets taken. They just choose her seemingly at random, and the other kids get left behind. She's sitting on this throne, and the adults in front of her also look like the cultists, like the members of the cult. They talk about immortality and how the blood of the king runs through Ymir's veins. That, for some reason, will give them immortality. But she was chosen at random, so obviously this is a lie cultivated by the leaders of the cult. At 12 minutes and 46 seconds, a lady with short hair shakes her head kind of like at Ymir. She kind of looks at her and shakes her head like as if telling her like, don't say something, or don't let us down. I don't know what the head shaking was about, but that was like suspicious to me, or I just felt like I needed to understand that better. I'm not sure if it had any real significance. At 13:22, I wrote down stab noise, she screams, and then that light. So that light we know as someone turning into a titan. It's like almost this thunder noise and then this light. So you know the person that was stabbed, I don't know what happened, I just heard this, I just wrote down stab noise. Then she screamed, and obviously they pushed her over to the side of the wall, and then she turned into a titan because we saw on Ymir's face that light. And then Ymir also gets stabbed / squelchy noise, then is pushed. So that's what I wrote down. I sent the notes to Wolf, and he said, look again, the answer is right at hand. And he kind of put emphasis on the word on right at hand. So I went back, looked again, and saw that she might not have been stabbed and pushed over the wall. For a second before Ymir gets pushed over the wall, you see the guard. It looks like the guards broke into this cult place, and obviously that, like, there's no freedom of religion inside the walls, it seems like, because that, why else would they be invaded and then pushed over the wall? But once again, the guard that pushed Ymir seemed to have a syringe in his hand, which seems like before they got pushed, the syringe got like squelched. They were in the whatever juice was in there, titan juice, I think I called it afterwards. They got injected with this whatever was in the syringe and pushed over, and then turned into titans, almost as if they were exiled, but not just exiled, turned into titans and then exiled. But it seems like Ymir, or it seems like only some people can go from titan form to human form. Maybe there is something in your blood. Maybe it's a specific kind of titan juice. I don't know if everyone can shift between being a titan and being a human. It doesn't seem that way. I think what's really important and what stands out for me in this situation, or in that whole scene, is the fact that freedom of religion doesn't seem to be allowed. And it links with this episode where the guy that Levi and Hanj was torturing talked about how they were keeping the peace, and they, the scouts, should be grateful to people like him because he believes in the king and he believes in the peace, and they were keeping the peace and blah blah blah. And he mentioned a teacher that was too smart for his own good, a couple that tried to fly. So it was like, it's like this dictatorship where you're not allowed to read about what's outside the walls. It's like they're trying to keep people ignorant, and in that way trying to control them. And that's why the only religion that may have been allowed was this religion of the wall people. I don't know, the people that worship the walls, because that religion supports whatever party is in charge of the inner walls. I call it a party as if it's a political party, but there's a king. So I don't know if it's called a patriarchy or however it works. But we now know, and this transitions into the next topic, Historia equals royalty. We found out in this episode that Historia is from the race. Okay, no, we didn't find out in this episode. We found out in this episode that Historia, her family, the race family, they are the actual royals. Now, the race family, if they're royalty, the king then must just be a figurehead. And that raises the question, either the race family is being controlled by some evil organization that, I don't know, took over, manipulates them, or the race family is part of the problem and is just using the king as a figurehead to protect themselves. I'm not sure yet about that, but whatever's going on inside the walls is, well, the people in power are pretty fucked up. It's like, I don't know, a lot of societies where they came into power somehow, and now to stay in power, they manipulate the masses and I don't know, use propaganda and use religion and things to mind control them, if you want to put it that way. It's not fucking hypnotism, but you only let them know what you want them to know. You only show them what you want to show them, so that they believe certain things and so that they don't revolt at the end of the day and become more powerful. Like, that's why it's important for a lot of societies, and South Africa is a very good example of this, where certain people are in power and they act like they're fighting for, you know, the masses, but in reality they're the ones screwing over the masses, keeping them where they are so that they're more easily controlled. This is why education is so important, because you need to be raised to think for yourself, to question, to be able to question things. Philosophy is like the highest grade, or you know, when you're studying in college or university, the highest thing you can get is like a PhD, so a doctorate of whatever. So it's always about learning everything you need to learn. And I'm talking under correction, but this is how I understood it while I was in university. You study to get all these degrees, and then the last one you can get is a PhD, which is a doctorate of philosophy, because you learn everything there is to learn in your chosen field, and then you learn the philosophy of it. So you learn not just what is, but why it is, and how to question it, you know? So, because it's important to question things. It's important because what's true today might not be true tomorrow. If you can't question things, if you can't think for yourself, it doesn't matter how much you know. I don't think there is true intelligence behind just knowing things. You need to understand them, be able to question them, understand not just how, but why, you know, that kind of stuff. So this society, and a lot of, I think even in South Africa, our higher ups don't want people to be educated. They say they do, but they don't. They don't teach people to think for themselves. They like being able to control people's minds, to show them certain images, certain things that are happening, and using that to shape these people's minds into what they want them to be. The impact of that in Attack on Titan is just that they stay in power. The rich stay rich, the poor stay poor, and I don't know who's behind all of it. But imagine then if this is true, because if you think back on season 1, when Eren was turned, because remember, Berthold, or the giant titan, and the armored titan and the giant titan, they broke down the wall, right? Or to some extent, I don't know, infiltrated. and opened and broke down the gate so that other Titans can come in, and a lot of chaos ensued from that. After that, I remember a scene between when Eren is being taken to safety by, I don't remember his name, the guy that was drinking a lot and then got eaten by a Titan at the end of season 2 in the last episode. What is his name? Hannes? Is it Hannes? Was it Hannes? I think it was Hannes. Yes, I remembered. Okay, so between when Eren was being taken to safety by Hannes and they were being shipped to, I don't know, the next inner wall, and when Eren wakes up with the key around his neck and Mikasa tells him they're handing out rations, we need to go get bread, you know, and then Eren is really angry at being dependent on these people that are so rude, whatever. I remember like flashes of his father and Eren asking his father, "What are you doing, Dad? You've been acting weird since Mom died." I actually might have it here. Okay, so if you here on the screen, you can see my notes, my Attack on Titan notes that I started making while I was rewatching season 1. And this is a dialogue between Eren and his father. Eren, Dad, please stop, Dad. A quick flash of an... Okay, this is injection, but it's injection. There we go. A quick flash of an injection. What are you trying to do? Eren's dad, looking slightly deranged. Red sky, branches, leaves, fire. Just give me your hand. No, you've been acting all weird since Mom died. Let go of me, Dad. You are no good. Eren's father, that was him. A flash of a forest. Eren seems to be held down. Don't forget the key. You must make it there. Until then. Suddenly, Eren wakes up. A bell rings. Okay. And that's when they were handing out the rations. So, clearly, Eren was turned in the same way that Ymir and the people of that cult were like injected with this Titan juice and pushed over the wall into exile. That's what I'm assuming. Eren's dad probably figured out, or was part of the ones that made the Titan juice, and Eren's dad turned him into a Titan to maybe fight his own creation. Could Eren's dad be part of the why there are even Titans? And like all of the evildoers were like what happened to Ymir and them. They were pushed over the walls and turned into Titans, but some people clearly can shift from being not Titans to being human and Titan. They can shift between. So the ones that can't are dangerous for whether you're a Titan shifter or not. But maybe there's a society on the outskirts of the wall that consists of all the people that were exiled from inside the walls. And maybe they didn't realize, maybe they thought they were just turning people into monsters and exiling them and punishing them that way, I don't know. But now those creatures ended up like turning on them, and the ones that can't turn back into a human, they end up eating people, I don't know, with maybe a crazy desire to be a person again, like an unconscious crazy side effect of being made into a Titan. Now you want to eat people to maybe get back to being a person, I don't know. And maybe that's why there are so few societies, because I don't know, is the people behind the walls built the walls to protect them from the Titans, but they weren't always behind the walls, right? They were their own demise. By creating these monsters, maybe to punish people, they ended up punishing themselves and pushing themselves in between these crazy walls, and now they have to fight these monsters that they created. And at the same time, the people on the outskirts of town, of the town, of this, of, you know, the insides of the walls, the people on the outside that may have been Titan, like punished or exiled from this place, they're starting to come together, because some of them seem to be able to turn back, and they're starting to make their own society. And they don't only have to fight off the Titans too, because I don't think the Titans are... But wait. Was in that one OVA, that one Titan was kind of... Didn't that one Titan almost worship the one scout that was writing the diary? Why would that be? Oh god, here I thought I was starting to understand things, and I'm just, it's still fucking messed up, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, what have I been talking about? Ymir, Historia, Rice family. We know that it's a monarchy, and either it is a absolute monarchy or like a constitutional one. And what I know from that is that like an absolute one is, it means the king can bypass everything and everyone. And then you have the constitutional one where there's still a council and other political parties involved, and the king's word isn't absolute, although he has some power. So I'm wondering, it's probably constitutional, like the Rice family is, they are the royal family by birth, whatever, I don't know when they got in power or why, but it seems constitutional in the sense that they're not really in power. Like Historia's dad, when I watched the preview for the next episode, he didn't look like a kingly type. He looked like the type that gets bossed around. He was born into royalty, but he doesn't have any say. You know, that guy that sits on the throne, that gray-haired guy, he looks like, it looks like they're being controlled. Like the Rice family is being controlled by the Constitution. I don't know even what the Constitution is, but you guys, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. It just doesn't seem like an absolute monarchy where the king has all the say, because the actual king, the royal family, the Rice family, they seem pretty like they're being bossed around here by a political party that is in it for themselves and seems to be pure evil at this point. The last thing that I wanted to make sure that I talk about is right versus wrong, and I've already talked about it in this episode, but I just wanted to also link it back to that one episode, that one fateful episode reaction on my channel, which I hate even mentioning, but it was that one where we found out that Berthold and Reiner are the armored and giant colossal titan, where I was so mad at them for choosing to do what they're doing. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I remember during that episode I was so mad, and I expressed a lot of my emotions after finding out who they are, and a lot of you were batshit angry at me for not understanding they were children, blah blah blah. And you guys were trying to argue against me using knowledge that you have obviously from watching the rest of that season 3 part 1 even, whereas I'm only now I'm starting to look at that differently, because even in this episode I started realizing, like, what can you do when you are being attacked? I'm still not saying I'm agreeing with whatever and why Berthold and Reiner did what they did and how they did it. I'm still not saying I'm agreeing with that. I'm just saying I am thinking about it more and starting to understand their reasoning behind it, because I mean, from the start I knew that just because we're getting the story from this side doesn't mean this side is the good side. I knew that from the very beginning. I watched Game of Thrones, and I watched it before Attack on Titan, and I knew that there is no good side and bad side in real life. There is just that side and this side, and more right and more wrong. There's no, it's not black and white. I was aware of that from going into this whole anime. But in this episode specifically, I remember thinking things like, you have to either fight or kill or be killed. And like when Armin shot the lady that was going to shoot Jean, I remember thinking either it was gonna be her or it's gonna be Jean. And in that moment, there is no time, and I've mentioned this before, there's no time to sit and talk about let's compromise, let's see what's going on here, let's all try and be good people and make sure we're all, you know, happy. There's no time in that. There was no time in that situation to talk things out. It was kill or be killed. And now I understand like why you guys were, I don't know, so fucking crazy about, oh, they didn't have a choice, they didn't have a choice. But for me, it's still different, because all of those innocent people in that town got caught in the crossfire. For me, it's different when someone is standing in front of you with a fucking gun to your face, and it's, or you shoot them or they shoot you. It's different for me to then, because I know that woman probably isn't the root cause of all their fucking problems. That woman was just following orders. She had a gun in her hand. Where I have a problem is when innocent people without guns in their hands get caught in the crossfire. And that's where I draw the line. But you can't blame someone for shooting someone else if that person was gonna shoot your friend. You know, it's like, it's so hard. Like I said, there is no right and wrong here. That's the thing. It's so vague. It's so confusing. It's so fucking confusing. It's so hard to make good decisions and to think like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done this, because you can't, because you're not there. But where I draw the line is when, like, you know that not millions, but hundreds of thousands of innocent people are gonna get eaten by fucking titans, and yet you still break down that wall. I realize that the people inside the wall, the ones in charge, are probably the reason you're on the outside of the wall, probably the reason why you were turned into a titan, and probably the reason why many of your people suffer. But is it fair to devise a plan to get to the people at the top and walk over? Like, aren't you then as evil as they are if you devise a plan that kills hundreds of thousands of people that have nothing to do, you know, with the whole fight? Conclusively, there's no right and wrong, but God, there has to be you have to draw a line somewhere, you know. You have to think for yourself somewhere and realize, like, maybe what I'm doing, maybe what these people are telling me to do is too much, you know. Maybe, like, you know how that guy that Hanj and Levi were torturing, he had convinced himself, like, he had lied to himself so much that he started believing what he was doing was right. He was killing innocent people and he believed what he was doing was right. And that makes you as bad as the people who have been ordering you to do it. And I know that a lot of people would be like, okay, but what would you have done if you either had to listen to the people in charge or be killed? A similar thing happened in the anime Dororo, where some kind of lord told a samurai, you kill that man. And all that guy did was build a building, but they needed to kill the builders, because otherwise the builders could leak the secrets and the secret tunnels, I don't know. So they wanted, the Lord wanted the builders of his fortress, I don't know, killed. So he ordered the samurai, either you kill this guy, all the builders actually, or I'll kill you. And this guy didn't want to do it, but there was this flashback of his sister and he needs to go back to his sister to help his sister take care of their land, and he didn't want to die because he still had reason to live. So he ended up choosing to kill this innocent man, the innocent builder, because if he wasn't going to kill him, the Lord was going to kill him. And then his sister would suffer because he's not there to help her. So he chose to live and to kill this guy. And this fucking crazy lord gave him a blunt knife. So he ended up having to chop this guy's head off bit by bit by bit. And obviously this guy suffered a lot. But basically this samurai was like the woman that had her gun pointed at Jean's face. It was almost like, it does seem like sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes you have to kill innocent people because otherwise you're gonna die. So I understand, like, I understand that there are situations like that, and that might be what was the case for Bertolt and Rainer. And I remember even saying that. I remember saying, if their families, like let's say Rainer and Bertolt was forced to do that because their family was being held hostage. I still remember saying that I would understand it. You can understand it then. Because you'd want to save your 5 close family members even if it meant killing 100 faceless strangers, innocent strangers. Most people would choose to save their family. But there are so many choices involved. For example, telling, like, Bertolt and Rainer were incorporated into the training. They could have gone to someone in charge and said, listen, we're from this place, our family's being held hostage and we were forced to become titans and kill all these people and please help us. Because if your family is being held hostage by evil people, chances are they're not going to just give them back to you even if you do what they say. But it's so scary because you want to hope that they do. But I mean, I can't really say anything for sure without more knowledge on the subject. I don't know everything. I can only guess at these things. And like Levi said, he never said they were right and they were wrong. But at this point, all they can do is make sure they survive to find out what the fuck is going on and hopefully somehow cut the disease out at its source. Much like, you know, when you have cancer and you eliminate, like let's say you have cancer in your skin, let's say this part of your hand. So you chop off your fucking hand. You'd rather chop off your fucking hand than die from that cancer, you know. But you can treat the symptoms for as long as you like. But as long as that, you know, cause is there, as long as that thing that is causing the disease in your body. So that's why you can't just keep treating the symptoms. You can't just keep fighting. You need to get to the source. And that is, at this point, that is the only thing that I want Armin and Erwin and Levi and everyone to do. It's like, I think that's what Erwin might be doing. I think at some point their government became so fucking corrupt that, because that's what, didn't Erwin say, do you think our government is doing the best for humanity, or is it going to run humanity into the ground or something? Humanity. And that is because what they're doing, if I'm correct, and it's the military police and the people at the top turning people into titans, and that's the reason why there are titans, then they're the ones that are the reason why they're stuck behind these walls. They're the ones that are the reason why humanity might be extinct eventually. But as long as they stay rich, they don't care. They don't give a fuck. So they use all the little people to fight off the titans. As long as they're protected, they're there in their rich houses, surrounded by water. Remember that one, we met Pixis in this someone's house. He was playing chess with him. As long as they're protected, they don't care. And I think that Erwin wants to start a revolution. Because sometimes you choose a government and maybe they start out with this beautiful ideals. They start out with, maybe you even voted people in power because you believed in them. But sometimes, and more often than not, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the government became evil. And now they're starting, they're not just bad guys. They're literally causing or are going to cause humanity's extinction. And sometimes a revolution is needed to overthrow this higher power, not as in God, as in the people in power. Sometimes, and it's scary because they have the power for a reason. They were smart enough to get there. Maybe they had good intentions before they got there. But at some point, sometimes a bad seed gets in and influences everyone, and everyone starts, you know, tricking themselves. Like that guy who was torturing people, who ended up being tortured by Levi and Hanj. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, but you are tricking yourself. You are justifying horrible things because, I don't know, you were brainwashed. I don't know why, how you could justify and justify and justify. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's love, sometimes it's just because you're stupid. But people end up being used, and it just seems like things have gone fucking too far, and it looks like Erwin is looking for a revolution. And that's where all of this is leading. It's already started, I think. I mean, there's so many, there's the outside. Now there's people on the inside, not for the king, and people against the king, which is now Levi and them realize that there's something wrong. And then you have the royal family, but are they really even in charge at all? Are they just being used? And who's this guy on the fucking throne? And who is this constitution that was deciding things and talking about things and controlling the military police? Like, what the fuck is going on? Maybe at some point the people on the outside and the people, the scout regimen, maybe they're going to end up working together to overthrow the state. I don't know, it's crazy. But I wonder what Aaron's dad has to do with the Titan juice, and if it's true that it was the military police or the people in charge of the military police, like, were they the ones turning people into Titans? And what. Oh god, I have been rambling for I don't even know how long. Thank you guys for listening to me. I will not be reading through the comments. I am not reading through the comments until the end of season 3 part 1, until I finish it. I don't want to be spoiled. I will be finished with season 3 part 1 before, I think from this day that I'm recording it now, there's like 46 days left until season 3 part 2 starts, which is like the 29th of April. So there's more than enough time. I know some of you guys are impatient, but I don't feel like I need to rush through Attack on Titan because it is still far away, and I don't want to end it and then still have to wait fucking 4 weeks until the next one comes out. I want to end about a week before season 3 part 2 starts, and then I can go right from finishing the other one, probably on some fucking big cliffhanger, into the next one, you know? That's what I want to do. So thank you guys for your patience. I will see you guys next week for the next episode. Bye.